Hello you lovely lot, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be showing you the process of a drawing of a character from my project Wired, which is something that's been a bit lacking on this channel for a while. So I think the last time I drew something related to Wired was possibly a year ago with an illustration of Jacob. So new followers, new subscribers, hello, welcome. Wired is basically my baby. It's a project that I've been working on for a very long time. I thought it was about 10 years, but recently I was going through some old files and I found that there was stuff from 2004. So I've been working on it for more than half my life, I think. So yeah, that was a shock to the system. But yeah, basically Wired is my sci-fi / cyberpunk project, and this is one of the characters. He's not a main character, but he is quite an important part of the plot. I'm very fond of him, and I realised that I've basically only drawn him once before, and that was in a sketch which is nowhere near completion, and that's a big group illustration of the whole cast of Wired. So one of the things I really love doing is drawing group illustrations as if the characters were in a movie poster or something, and so I'm doing that basically for every D&D campaign I'm in, and then I want to do one for each of my own projects as well. So the Wired one is in progress, and yeah, I've sketched Rowan on that, and then I had this idea for this other illustration of him on his own. So this is Rowan, like I said. He is a total replacement cyborg. So basically he is a human brain in a cybernetic body, and he's one of the first successful ones in the world of Wired. So basically Wired is not set in our world, but if it was set in our world, it would probably be several hundred years in the future. It's hard to predict because technology just goes so fast. It's kind of crazy how much the world has changed since I started working on this project. It's honestly mad. But yeah, because technology develops so fast, it's hard to say exactly how many years in advance it would be, but that's kind of a rough estimate. So yeah, basically androids are commonplace and cyborgs are as well, but most people are they have partial cybernetics, whereas Rowan, his entire body is cybernetic. So basically he was involved in an accident several years before the story took place, and his only chance of survival was to be turned into a total replacement cyborg. So basically he almost looks the same as he did before. His facial features are the same, his hair is the same. Obviously his ears are different because they're kind of a mark of the type of cyborg he is, so like a branding. And then his body is slightly different because it was pre-manufactured before his accident. So they modified his head to match his physical appearance, but the body was already done. So there is kind of an aspect of the story that I want to approach very sensitively, because Rowan has some degree of dysphoria towards his new body, but I want to be very sensitive about it and do my research. So yeah, that's something I want to explore, is a sense of dysphoria, or a sense of not feeling right in the body that you have with a sci-fi storyline. So that's a path I want to go down with Rowan, but his story isn't all doom and gloom. He is genuinely a really lovely guy, and I want to explore a much happier side of his story as well. So Rowan works for the National Artificial Intelligence Bureau, which is a subdivision of the police force in Wired, which is the same force that Jacob, Sarah, Riker, Declan, and any others you may have heard me mention all work for. So he works in combat because that's what his cybernetic body was manufactured for, is combat, so that's what he does. He goes in on the front line and deals with dangerous situations and hopefully subdues them before the others get there to make the situation easier to resolve. But Rowan is an absolute sweetheart. He is actually dating Riker, and I don't think I have drawn Riker for quite a while, but he is one of the staff who works in the intelligence department in the Aether Cove police force. So the city that the story takes place in is called Aether Cove. It is a multi-story city, basically. It's run out of space to build outwards, so it's building up. So that's really fun to work with as a concept in the story, but I haven't drawn it yet. So there's a lot of stuff I've got to work out because Wired is a novel and it's going to be a webcomic. So I have to figure out how to adapt things both in narrative and visually. So there's a lot of development work still to do. But yeah, Rowan is dating Riker. They are the idiots to lovers trope. Absolutely. They are so stupid. And when they join together, their stupidity just reaches new levels. He really likes bomber jackets and ugly chunky trainers, and I really like chunky trainers, so researching for this illustration really tested my willpower because I wanted to buy every single shoe I saw, and I'm pleased to say I haven't bought any, but there are quite a few on my bookmarks in Chrome, so we're just gonna skip over that, it's fine. He also has a love of unsolved mystery podcasts and stories and articles and that kind of thing, and he's always reading them out loud in the staff room when he's reading interesting stuff, and whether anyone is actually listening or interested, he will just carry on and they let him get on with it. And then he also likes fantasy novels, so he is a sucker for elves and orcs and all that good stuff. I don't know if they have D&D in Wired, but he would absolutely play D&D. Yeah, I'm making it canon. He plays whatever the Wired version of D&D is. I'm going to need to think of a catchy sci-fi name for that now. So, as for this illustration, there are a few things that inspired it. One of them is a book that I've got of artwork from backgrounds of an anime series, I think? No, it was a game. It's basically a company that creates background artwork for games and anime series, and I bought this book that was by them, and it's all in Japanese and I can't read any of it. And it's for a game that was never even released outside Japan, but it has the most beautiful background art, and there was a scene with an aquarium and I felt really inspired. And yeah, another thing that I was inspired by that I've been looking at a lot lately is artwork with flat colours or very, very basic shading. And this is not something that I've really looked into before, and I kind of want to stress that it's important to always keep your mind open to different art styles and looking into different things that you might not necessarily think at first glance will inspire you. So when I was much, much younger, my thought process was, I'm into anime and manga. I will only ever draw anime and manga. I don't need to draw or research anything else, and this was really stupid. And now I realised that I can find inspiration and reference in pretty much any art style that I look at, and that's what I'm really trying to do, is just kind of absorbing what I like and what I can learn from every art piece that I see. Even if I don't necessarily like that art piece, if I can look at it objectively and think, okay, how did they tackle this problem? How did they approach this? And so on, and bring it into my own work. And so really what I wanted to explore here was trying out a much more simple colour scheme. And I haven't quite got to the point where I feel comfortable using only flat colours in an illustration, because I feel like it doesn't look right with my art style yet. I feel like I need to work on that, and another thing I want to try is making my line art much more textured. And again, this is something I've never done because I've always been very fixated on perfect, I'm using air quotes, perfect line art with very smooth lines and no variation and texture in terms of the smoothness of the line. But I'm looking at textured lines now in different people's artwork and lines that look sketchier, and I'm kind of like, I want to do that, and I've never done that before. So I'm really trying to be open to exploring new avenues in my work, and yeah, this was actually done with a textured G pen. This is the default G pen in Clip Studio, and I really like it, and I will continue to explore different pens because I downloaded something like 800 Frendon brushes, so I've got those to play with. The sketch brush that I used is from Tricky Wagon, and I really like it. It's called the Mix brush, so that's my new favourite sketching tool. This is also going to be a print available in my store soon. I'm working on putting more sci-fi stuff into my store and not just the fantasy and D&D related stuff, because there's been a lot of that, and I feel like I'm kind of pushing aside the other aspect of my work. So in the future I'm going to be planning out for when I attend conventions again, which I don't do very often, but when I do, I want to split my table by genre. So I've got fantasy on one side, sci-fi on the other, and then a banner that has kind of a divide in the middle where they blend into each other, and there's fantasy character on one side, sci-fi on the other. So one of them will probably be Rowan and the other will be Taryn, I bet. I think it'll be a cool mirror image with the ears, elf ears and cyborg ears. But yeah, that's my ideas that I have in mind for now. So I'm definitely trying to push more sci-fi back into my products. So I'm really looking forward to that. This is going to be the first in hopefully a series of more sci-fi prints. I really hope you like it. So thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!